we've been talking to Shannon MrGrail from the POAC, Autism, Parents of Autistic Children in the Northern Virginia area. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about a program that you have as far as parent training, as far as training the parents, because I know that's one of the big issues, big mission components of your organization is training. So what is out there for parents as far as learning more about their child's special needs?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. There is a lot available through POAC. We offer several series of classes independent of the school that we have to teach parents how to work with their children. So parents can either take an a la carte approach where they might say, I need to work on managing problem behaviors, or I'm really interested in socialization, and then individually take these classes, or they can do something called the parent therapist route. Right now we are getting ready for the next session of our BCBA program at George Mason, and the parents who get students from this BCBA program are actually going to be offered classes alongside these students to learn how to do things like work at the table with their child, or do natural environment teaching, which is where you kind of follow the child's motivation to figure out how to gain more access. So I may be pushing my son on the swing,
Right.
and then I may stop him, and I may hold him there for a second, and I'll say, push. And then if he repeats me or even makes an approximation of push, I'll push the swing again,
Right.
so that I can get him to use his words. And that's natural environment teaching. But we have the parents go through the training with the student. We give them a manual that we're actually finishing up now, which every single week of the 15 weeks of the semester gives them the opportunity to figure out how to use the information. Like, we want you to do a social outing this week. We want you to either go to church, or we want you to take them to McDonald's or go to a park. It's very hard for parents to figure out what is going to be the least painful place to take their child, because we are so badly ostracized often in public.
Right.
But if the step is not taken for the parents, you're going to have to bear that pain or that sadness or that, momentary humiliation of people staring at you. It's for the child, because the more that you bring them to these different places, the more access they have to the public, the less horrible it becomes. And so the book doesn't just work on socialization, it works on rigidity. We want people to put a sock instead of a glove on the child's hand, or pour the Cheerios into the cup and not the bowl, and see what kind of response you get. So there's a companion manual that goes along with it. And then moreover, these parents are actually going to have, the ones who attend the classes will be entitled to a mentor, what's called a family mentor, someone who comes into the house who's trained in ABAVB to oversee not them and not their child, but their entire family, to say, this is how we could get your other child involved in working therapy, or this is how you and your husband could play off each other to get more access to information from your nonverbal child, or this is how we're going to work on managing this particular behavior as a family unit. And that's really valuable, because your therapist is only in the home for a very short window of time. If you as a family are not generalizing, your child is really not going to have as much success as they could, if they have success at all. So it's just like the schools. They're only actually in the schools like 30 hours a week, but they are conscious and awake for 108 hours of the week with you. So if you don't know how to help your child, the opportunity for failure is far greater than for success.
Now let's go back to some points that you brought out, like as far as if a parent wanted to work on rigidity.
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 That's
exactly,
a real problem.
What is rigidity?
Rigidity is a lot of times a schedule
Okay.
that they want to keep. Like, they believe that bedtime is always at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock they have to have the bath, the teeth, the pajamas, and then bed. Well, maybe that is the case a lot of the days of the week, but the reality is we don't all get home in time for 8 o'clock bedtime. You don't always have time to have a bath every night, and while you do brush your teeth, maybe you put your pajamas on before then. So it's kind of mixing things up to help the child grow accustomed to change, because a lot of these children are so rooted in ritual that they're not really comfortable with any kind of change, and therefore when there is a change, like, you have to take a different way home. You have to drive a different route because that road is blocked off. the kid, well, at least my son, would occasionally have some real issues with this, and he would start yelling and kicking and screaming.
Because you're going a different way.
What are you thinking?
Right.
How could you go the wrong way? And so I would do this on purpose. I would kind of play with his head a little bit in driving different ways to get different places so that he would have to deal with the reality. And the reality is when they're smaller and they're kicking and they're pulling your hair about going the wrong way, it's not as big a deal as when they're 14. So we like to get those anti-rigidity programs in pretty quickly. And we like them to understand that it's fun. Yes, there is a specific way that you play Monopoly. Yes, if you have a higher functioning kid, they would like to play exactly by the rules. You want to help them understand that being a little bit lax can be a lot of fun. And so you put in anti-rigidity rules where you try and show them that you're having fun by changing the rules, and therefore they could have fun. And on the first time, no, they're not going to think it's really exciting that you decided that everyone's going to change money and go to the left.
Right.
But you teach them over time. It's a gradual thing. It's each time that you do it is one, but of course there's going to be what's called an extinction burst, and they're going to get really angry initially, but after that, each time is going to become more and more accepted. And the point is to try when, while they're still in your hands, while they're still in your home, to have as many chances to get them to get past their, typical routine, their ritual, their what they think is always going to happen. If you go to McDonald's on Wednesday nights, try going on Tuesday, try going on Thursday. Mix it up a lot, because you're creating somebody who needs to have these things in place, and that's not healthy. That's not the way.